So this is a new lab for me, and I'm actually getting to do this live, which is exciting. So usually when I'm looking through a program that statement like this, and I see something like this, where this is not just like a one line of code thing. This is like I have to go through the whole array and see if there's only two elements that are true. So whenever I see something that sounds like a whole nother piece of functionality, I want to make sure that I can do that first, because it's to do that smaller part first, and then B, this is probably going to be its own method. That would be really nice. So those are my two thoughts. In that case, I really like to get moving on this because I feel like this is going to be my loop control. So I'm going to go ahead up here and try to figure out how to make that method work, and then do some testing of just that tiny piece of functionality. So that might be something like until there are only two true elements left. Sounds like a true-false statement. So it looks like I'm going to be returning a Boolean, a true or false, from this check. And I'm going to need an array full of Booleans to check anyway. So I'll need to take that as a parameter. We'll call it, what were these things? Oh, soldiers. Soldiers? Warriors. Okay. Warrior. Okay. Just so I have, because I like to type comments in English anyway, it's convenient to do it in the Java doc format. I'll say, given an array of booleans, determine how many true values are there. Param, warriors, array of booleans, and return true if there are only two true values, false otherwise. So what am I going to call this thing? I haven't put a name for it yet. Two left alive. Two are left are alive. Only two. How about this? Only two are alive. I like to, maybe I'll put this like this. I like to try to make a Boolean sound like a yes/no thing when I'm making the name for the method. Okay, so I think this is good. I'm satisfied with this. It looks like this is going to be straightforward, I think. Let me write a quick for loop to go through warriors. And I will also need a counter to keep track of how many there are. So int num trues 0 to start. And at each moment, I just want to see if it is true. If warriors sub I is equal to true, we'll set num trues up by 1. And at the end, I will just, at this point, I should have the total number of trues, and I will return num trues is equal to 2. Let's do some testing. It doesn't really matter what length it is, so I can test with something really small. This might be a nice time to just write a test harness here. Quick test edit void run tests, and call it from main. Sometimes I like to do this when I'm starting to test little pieces of my code, otherwise known as unit testing. And so I'm going to very loosely do some unit testing here by saying make an array and call the only two are alive. So Boolean testing, it's new Boolean. Oh, actually I could let's just make it happen here. True, 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 false. I'm expecting this to be false. Let's see. false, and we'll add on only 2 are alive, and pass in my testing array. Now let me do a change. Testing equal, how about testing sub-0, set that to false, and now I should be expecting true. Okay, let's see how I did. Executioner. Oh dear. Forgot my square brackets. Okay, so just to explain, this is saying illegal initializer for Boolean. Actually, now I can't remember if the book shows this style of declaring an array. This is totally legal to declare an array this way. The problem is that I've put Boolean over here on the left, and I forgot my square brackets to say I'm actually dealing with a Boolean array. So that should help. But this is just another style of initialization where if you knew all the values in your array up front, you can just put them in the curly brackets. So it's helpful for testing. Let's try this. That's better. Yep, and it looks like my unit testing is running fine. So now I can go on to my other comments in main.